Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. Today I'm gonna present our workbook summary of chapter 4, and the chapter is about language. And in this page there are 4 subheadings about topic. The first one is finding the right words, the need for precision. The second one, the importance of precise definitions. And the third one, emotive language, slanting the truth. And the fourth, euphemism and political correctness. And there is an introduction. Thanks to language, we plan the day's events, curse the television, exclaim our surprise or frustration, like, oh my God, or express pain, urge, draw reminders on scraps of paper, write our thoughts and feelings in diaries. And thought and language create our words, so it's important to pay attention to the words. And in this chapter, we concentrate on the skills of choosing the right words, describing words, and determining the emotive and slanted message some words carry. And if you are ready, let's start. First, finding the right words, the need for precision. To communicate clearly, to defend our claims without confusing or misleading anyone, and to assess the truth of premises presented to us in the arguments of others. We must insist that language in the context of argumentation be clear and exact. And thinking critically and arguing effectively mostly rest on recognizing imprecise language. That is language that is vague, overgeneral, or ambiguous, and we analyze them. And the first one is vagueness. Vagueness is a kind of imprecision in language. A word or a group of words is vague when its meaning is fuzzy and indefinite. For example, the words middle age and rich are vague. We analyze middle age, and there is an example. Everyone would agree that President Obama is middle age, and everyone would also agree that Lohan and former President Carter are not middle age. But what about Steffi Graf or Mick Jagger? No definite answer can be given since the word middle age has no obvious and different meaning. And nearly all words are vague to some degree. Some words such as indecent and obscene are extremely vague, and they create lots of difficult borderline cases. Other words like vehicle are moderately vague. Example, ordinary cars and trucks are clearly vehicle, but what about roller skates, baby carriers, snow sleds, and motorized wheelchair like that? And vague language is useful and appropriate for many contexts. It often adds richness, subtlety, and complexity to poetry and the other literary forms, and there is an example about sentence from that sky limit, busy as your tortured destiny. What thoughts fill your empty heart? Free thinker, answer me. Like that. Or we can say. And the other one, or generality. Vagueness is mostly confused with our generality, but there is an important distinction between the two. Words are vague if they have fuzzy or inexact boundaries and hence cause unclear borderline cases. In contrast, words are general if the information they offer is too extensive and common in given context. And there is an example: mother say, "Where are you going?" and the teenager say, "Out." And this expression is so general. Out what? It can be restaurant, it can be park, it can be library maybe. It's so general. It's too general. And whether an expression is overly general usually depend on the context. He is human may be a quietly adequate answer to the question, is your child a pronoun human or a computer? But it's a pure reply to the question, what's your new boyfriend like? And the other one, ambiguity. Ambiguity refers to the doubtful sense of a word or phrase. A word or expression is ambiguous if it has two or more different meanings and the context does not make obvious which meaning is intended. Many words have more than one meaning. For example, the word bank has two meanings, and the first one is a type of financial institution, and the second one is area of land next to a river. We can say, and there are two kinds of ambiguities. The first one is semantic ambiguities, and the second one is syntactical ambiguities. And semantic ambiguities, these ambiguities result from uncertainty about the meaning of an individual word or phrase. And there is an example about it. I don't like it when my father smokes. The word smoke has more than one meaning, and the significance of the sentence changes dramatically depending on which meaning is intended. And the other one, syntactical ambiguities. These ambiguities result from faulty grammar or word order. And there is an example. The burglar threatened the student with the knife. And this sentence either means that a knife wielding burglar threatened a student, or the student a burglar threatened was holding a knife. It's unclear. And let's move. The importance of precise definitions. A convincing argument often rests on a clear and certain definition of language. The failure to describe terms carefully can result in a massive battle with some participant struggling to find the truth and others fighting to avoid it. And types of definitions. To use language correctly in an argument, it's significant to remain aware that not everyone reading or listening to your claims has the same background, has the same experience and values that you do. So you should offer definitions of words that might be misunderstood. And there are several types of definitions you can use. Let's look at the first one is stipulative definitions. If you ever created a new word or use an old word in an entirely new way, you have provided a stipulative definition, that is, you tell your readers or listeners what it is you intend by the term. And there's an example. For example, in The Riddle of Induction by Nielsen Goodman, grue was stipulated to be a property of an object that makes it appear green if observed before feature time and blue if observed afterward. And the second definition, persuasive definitions. An arguer defines the term so as to persuade the reader or listener to agree with the arguer's point of view regarding the thing being defined. And there is an example about a Democrat, a leftist who desires to overtax the corporations and abolish freedom in the economic sphere. Let's move. The other one, lexical definitions. In a lexical definition, a word is defined in the way it's standardly used in the language. And in other words, the purpose of a lexical definition is to state the conventional, traditional, and dictionary meaning of a word. And there is an example. Eel is a female sheep. The other one, precising definitions. A precise definition is intended to make a vague word more precise so that the word's meaning is not left to the interpretation of the reader or listener. And there is an example. Defining an old person as a person of age 65 or above, we can say. And there are strategies for defining, and these may be helpful in clarifying the meanings of certain words. Let's look at the first one, ostensive definitions. These definitions rest on simply pointing to or demonstrating the thing being defined. And there is example, green is the color of grass, limes, lily pads, and emeralds. You should show this. And the other one, enumerative definitions. These definitions offer specific, particular example of what the word refers to, because the meaning of words and there's example about it. Runners means a person such as Celestia or Masoret. We can say, let's move. The other one, definitions by subclass. A definition by subclass assign a meaning to a word by listing subclasses of the general class to which the word refers. There is example, family means either parents, grandparents, children, workers, or dependents. The other one, etymological definitions. A good dictionary tells what the part of speech a word is, how it is commonly pronounced, and whence it came, its ancestry or etymology, because the meaning of words can change over time. And there is example. The word heat comes from the Middle English word het, which in turn came from the German word hitze, meaning hot. And synonymous definitions. A synonymous definition assigns a meaning to a word by offering a synonym. That is another word that has the same meaning as the word being described, defined. And there's the example, humorous means funny, we can say. And the other one, definition by genus and difference. Definition by genus and difference assign a meaning to a word by identifying a general class to which things named by the word belong, and then specifying a differentiating quality that distinguishes those things from all other things in the class. And there is example, calves. Calf means young cows. We can say, let's move. And there are some rules for constructing good lexical definitions. Some readers may have noticed how difficult it's come up with good, accurate definitions. Every method has its pitfalls. And here are a few simple rules that will help you to construct sound definitions and evaluate those of others. First, don't make the definition too broad or too narrow. There is example, a definition of sibling as brother would be too narrow because it fails to include sisters. The other one, convey the essential meaning of the word being defined. There is example defining horse as the animal ridden by Napoleon during the Battle of Waterloo is a poor definition, for example. And the other one provide the context for ambiguous words. And there is example, walk in baseball is different from a walk in the park. And the other one, avoid slanted definitions. And the other one, avoid figurative definitions. For example, slot machines means one-armed bandit, for example. And the other one, avoid needlessly obscure definitions. And there is example, mouse means a quadrupedal mammalian of any of the more diminutive species of the genus Mus of the order Rodentia, for example. And the other one, avoid circular definitions. For example, gamble means someone who gambles. Like that. Let's move. Emotive language selected through. Emotive language more clearly uncovers writer's attitude and feelings toward the subject than exact, neutral, and more objective language does. And it's intended to generate in the reader the same attitude and feelings toward this subject rather than increase the reader's knowledge about it. And emotive is the adjective form of emotion. You have no doubt heard the expression moved to tears. And the emotive power of words. The emotive power of a word can come from the word's detonation. Detonation means there is an example. The boy was passionate, for example. Actually, he was literally pushing people, or literal meaning. And emotive meaning also comes from the word's connotation. What is connotation? There is an example. In Shakespeare's Sonnet 18, the line, "Shall I compare thee to summer's day?" connotes actual beauty and serenity. The image, the image and feeling that are associated with the word, we can say, let's move. Euphemism and political correctness. Very often in our communication with one another, we avoid language that we feel might offend, upset, or insult our listener or readers. Whatever our reasons, when we choose a more gentle and less negative word over those we feel would be offensive or too direct, we are speaking in euphemism, mild, comforting, or evasive words that take the place of harsh, blunt, or taboo words. And government employees and politicians are especially notorious for using euphemism. The military of the United States, for example, has referred to civilian casualties as collateral damage and has labeled soldiers expendable resources. Enemy troops are sometimes termed soft targets. Soldiers who die by friendly fire have been accidentally killed by their own forces. And that's the end of my presentation. Thanks for listening.